Hello, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to take some time to learn about local candidates for House District 94.
94.
House District 94. In the studio is Marilyn Marler, who's the incumbent for House District 90. Marilyn, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So I invited all the candidates for offices that would revolve around the city of Missoula. And a number of them have responded, and to all the candidates, I formulated the same very open-ended questions.
Great.
Really just designed to allow people to see what your thoughts are on a broad range of issues that you're selecting, because I'm not. Sure. The very first question is, what inspired you to run for this office?
Thank you for asking. I have been serving in this office for 3 previous legislative sessions, and I want to run a fourth, or to serve for a fourth.
And that would be 8 years of service?
8 years of service, yes, and we have term limits in
Right.
Montana for the House of Representatives, and I feel that every session that we serve, we get a little bit more institutional knowledge and understanding of the process, and it's an honor to serve in Helena, and so that is why I'm running immediately for this fourth term. In bigger picture, I served on the Missoula City Council for 12 years, and I loved serving on the Missoula City Council. I got frustrated with the way that property taxes are levied and dispersed. They are collected by the state and then sent to the local governments, and we have a problem with property taxes in Missoula. And I thought it was my goal to go to Helena and better understand how the property tax system works and how we could have a tax system that was less burdensome to homeowners.
Right. And I wanted to ask you if you could describe for the audience, with this redistricting,
Yes.
the new area that you hope to be serving.
The district that I'm running for, new House District 94, is the South Hills, Linda Vista, and Miller Creek, Upper and Lower Middle Creek.
Oh.
Upper and Lower Miller Creek.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the district you are an incumbent to, is it very similar, the old 90?
It's pretty similar. The district I'm now representing includes the South Hills and Lewis and Clark neighborhood. And now Lewis and Clark neighborhood is redistricted to a different one, and I'm picking up Miller Creek.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's your second most general question. Describe how you see Missoula County, city, what you like about what you see, and what you would like to improve upon.
Great question. I love Missoula City. I love Missoula County. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world. We have a university, we have a river, we have some of the most generous and kind people that I've met anywhere. And it's a wonderful place to live. My husband and I have been here for 30 years. Just great. It's close to hunting, it's close to fishing, it's close to the national parks. What needs to improve is the cost of housing is the single biggest thing. And I already mentioned property taxes, which are crisis level right now, but affordable housing, especially since COVID, is, I am shocked at some of the things that I've seen in our community and the inability of wages to keep up with the housing costs. I'm going to say that that's the if I could change one thing about Missoula, it would be that. It would be for everyone to have housing.
And if you're elected to the seat, which now would be HD 94, what would you like most about this job? And I guess you've got a pretty seasoned idea because you've spent 6 years, or
three
sessions, because they
6
meet
years.
every other year.
Yep.
In Helena. But anyway, what would you like most about going to Helena from Missoula?
What I really like about serving in the legislature is being able to be a voice for people in Missoula. And the values that we have in Missoula. We're not a monolith, but we are generous. We invest in our community. We try to help people. We value public education. And it is an honor to go there and speak for those values, even though they're not always the winning values of the day. It is easy to feel in the Capitol building and during the legislative session that you're definitely part of something that's bigger than just yourself. Yeah. You know, there are 100 representatives in the House, and so you're just one of many. It's the people's house. And there's a history there, and you can feel it when you're in the building. And so sometimes frustrating things happen, but it's part of a bigger process. And it's the American way to have civil discourse and vote on things, and that's how it goes. What is the most difficult part for me of serving in the House is being away from my community for 4 months. Yeah. It's hard to just up and go and be there, and the schedule is challenging. It's 12-hour days for 4 months, and that's all you do for the most part. Not literally, but that's the focus.
And it's wintertime.
And it's wintertime, so you can't even hike to the M or something.
Easily, either. Well, for question 4, you've had a lot of experience, and the question asks, what have you learned about Missoula and Montana while campaigning for a seat in the House?
But between campaigning and serving in the House, I feel I have learned a lot about the state. I think that there is we have a lot of room for improvement in relationship building between urban and rural Montana. I feel that there's just we have 7 urban areas, and the rest of the state's pretty rural, very rural. We have a lot of opportunities to try to reach out and have better understanding of each other. I think both sides feel pretty misunderstood, and you can hear that in the conversations at the Capitol. Prior to serving in the House, I thought that I knew that there was a disconnect between Western Montana and Eastern Montana. We have different economies, different landscape, so there's actually 2 different sets of divides. And it is my hope that we can continue to work towards better understanding of those. I definitely feel that in Montana, we agree on quite a lot of things. And in the things that pop out on the news are the things we disagree on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the news has always got to be bad.
Yes,
or it's got to be conflict.
It has to have the conflict.
It's not in the news.
Yes.
So once again, dear viewers, we've been visiting with Marilyn Marler, who is an incumbent to House District 90 and is now running for a redistricted area, which will be called HD 94. So question 5 is, describe some of Missoula's strengths and weaknesses.
Our Missoula's strengths are many. I think the university is a strength for our economy and our culture. I think our proximity to places to hike, fish, and hunt is definite strength. The river is a strength. Our kindness and generosity is a strength. The weaknesses that we have, I already mentioned the the price of housing, but that is a complicated problem and will not be solved easily. It's part of a reflection of how successful we are at building a wonderful community where everyone wants to live. So I think one weakness I hope that we can overcome, whether it's, it'll be a combination of state, local, and non-government partnerships to build more housing and help get people into that housing. So that's the biggest weakness that we have now.
And you get to the final part. That's the closing thoughts, in which you would just, express your appeal to the potential voter or whatever it is you want to say.
Great. Thanks for having me on the show. And I would really appreciate. Oh gosh, I can start over, right? I kind of bit it. Okay.
That's right. So I'll go here. See, it's my signal.
Okay.
Okay, so you're back to 3, and that's your camera. If you want to do that, appeal.
I'll look at the camera action. Thanks, Joel, and thanks to the folks watching. It would mean a lot to me to go back to Helena and continue working on some of the issues that I've spent 6 years working on. And I've mentioned housing, I've mentioned taxes, which are an actual crisis right now and a failure of the current state leadership. I also spend time working on fair chase hunting and conservation issues, and I consistently vote and advocate for our public education systems. And I hope everyone watching this vote yourself and get someone else to go vote with you. I feel strongly that some of our basic freedoms are at stake in this election: bodily autonomy, right to a clean environment, and our right to public education. So please take it seriously. Thanks for watching, because it means you're educating yourself, and see you at the polls.
Great, thank you so
Yeah,
much. Because
thanks.
that echoes a lot of MCAT's philosophy too, is that we hope to get people civically engaged.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And to echo that sentiment, a lot of people put their focus on the big national, and of course,
Yeah.
there's a lot at stake, and there's a lot
So
of
much.
information,
Yeah.
and a lot of pageantry too.
Yeah.
And the local elections really affect people.
They matter a lot.
And sometimes they'll just go to the poll and they're ready to vote along party lines, looking for a D, looking for an R, looking for an L, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that's all they know.
Yeah.
They're like, I think I saw that name somewhere.
Yeah.
So we're giving you high marks for staying this long, dear viewer. And also, just along the mechanics of your vote, I wanted to mention these few things. October 7th is the last date in which you can make changes to your voter registration remotely by email or telephone. After October 7th, according to Bradley Seaman, the election supervisor for Missoula County, you have to go to the election office, 140 North Russell Street, in person. And you probably don't want to do that. So one way to avoid that unfortunate circumstance is to go to this website, which is myvoterpagemt4montana.com. There you would enter your first, last name, your date of birth, and you'll find out your voting status. So you'd be informed, and you wouldn't be caught at the last minute desperately trying to vote and not being on the rolls properly. So once again, thanks for taking the time. And for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching.